Dune Part 1 is a 2021 science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve. The movie stars Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Dave Bautista, and Zendaya. Kind of. It's safe to say that this movie has a stacked cast. Everyone does a fantastic job, and there isn't a performance on the screen that lets the movie down. The standout performance of this movie has to be Stellan Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen. His presence on the screen demands your full attention, as he's an imposing figure throughout the film. The movie follows Paul Atreides, the son of Duke Leto Atreides, and his path onto the planet of Arrakis per command of the Emperor. Arrakis is a harsh desert planet compared to Paul's homeworld of Caladan, but it also holds the most important material in the universe, spice. Without getting too into the weeds of it, spice is responsible for interstellar travel across the known universe, making whoever rules the planet of Arrakis the most important and the richest person in the known universe. Timothy Chalamet as the lead in this movie does a good job selling a lot of the sci-fi aspects within the film. He's learning everything for the first time on the world of Arrakis, just like the audience is, and I think this does a great job for the immersion of the film. Throughout the film, there are political machinations, betrayals, and plans within plans that make the movie gripping and intriguing to say the least. One thing to note is that during part 1 of the movie, there's a lot of setup and world building that occurs. The world building is done incredibly well, drawing you into the universe of Dune very well. The setup is clear, and by the end of the movie, you're really wanting part 2 to start. Since part 2 has already come out, this makes the setup of part 1 a little less overbearing. One thing to add is that part 1 initially came out without part 2 being greenlit, so there is a timeline out there where part 1 is the only Dune movie to grace the silver screen. If this was the case, then Dune part 1 would suffer a little bit on how much setup there actually is. All this to say, Dune part 1 is an immersive ride that really draws you into the universe it takes place in. If you're a fan of science fiction movies, there's a ton of lore and depth within this universe for you to sink your teeth in. Dune the novel is cited as being one of the most influential pieces of science fiction literature, and having read the book, the adaptation of the book into the movie is near flawless in my opinion. Aside from performances and aside from world building, another big strength of this movie has to be the cinematography. It's really impressive in my opinion. You really feel the scale of certain buildings and certain figures on the screen. You feel like they're really there, and you feel the weight behind them. There's something about the Dune movie and the Dune universe that really draws me into it, whether this be the spice, or the voice, or the Bene Gesserit witches, or the different factions of houses. There's just something about the universe that keeps me wanting more. I'd give Dune Part 1 an 8.4 out of 10.